Minister, thank you very much for joining us. Welcome to the program. Congratulations on your new job, but this is a familiar territory for you, though, isn't it?
Well, yes, it's an old new territory, so it's been possible to hit the ground running. There is a lot of work to be done, and I think that my predecessors have done excellently. I can only take it up. I don't have the option to take Home Affairs down.
All right. Well, let's chat a little bit about some of this new stuff that's coming through. This new legislation that's coming into effect, what is new about it? What's the game changer?
A number of clauses have come into the new legislation. For example, it affects business, it affects foreigners who want to establish businesses in South Africa. First and foremost, we change the temporary work permit into a temporary work visa so that we distinguish between the temporary work visa and the permanent residence permit. If people come to South Africa for a short period of time, we're not going to regard the visas that they use to enter the country as permits, so that we create that clarity. But businesses, corporates that employ, that foreign companies that now operate in South Africa, they now have to ensure that they employ 60%. They must prove or make a commitment that they will employ 60% South Africans in their companies. We are also extending the intra-company transfer work visa from 2 years to 4 years, because it becomes onerous for companies in instances where they have to transfer workers from the mother company to the local company to have to renew that visa after 2 years. So we extend the visa to enable stability and certainty in terms of those companies. But we're now also going to require that the children who are traveling out of the country or entering South Africa must now be in possession of a passport and an affidavit from the parents in case they are traveling with a non-parent, as well as an unabridged birth certificate. This is to contribute in the campaign against child trafficking and smuggling, which is a global phenomenon. So there's a number of new clauses that have come in, including the fact that for young people who are studying in South Africa, we are going to now provide them with a study visa for the duration of their course. And in addition, we will no longer allow people who are on medical visas or visitors visas to renew their visas inside South Africa.
So what do you say to groups that are saying that some of your proposed legislation is unconstitutional, particularly when it comes to the treatment of spouses that have to wait, I believe, 5 years to apply as a result of the changes that are taking place?
In actual fact, contrary to that opinion, we believe that the new legislation plus the regulations that we published on Monday, that were gazetted on Monday, are very constitutional. The only test for whether any legislation is constitutional or not is the Constitutional Court. So you can tell us that it is unconstitutional. We believe it's constitutional. We've made our thorough consultations, including seeking legal opinion from senior counsels, and we're convinced that they are constitutional, but they are at liberty to approach the Constitutional Court and seek recourse. If the Constitutional Court rules that these regulations and the legislation are unconstitutional, then we will have to comply with their ruling because they are the authority on the matter.
All right, so critical skills is going to be the buzzword. Question is, do you know what the critical skills are? Has an audit been done to identify where there's a lack, what's on the list, in fact, so that people know what the rules of the game are?
In the course of the next few days, I'm going to be presented with a list of the critical skills, a list of undesirable companies that are now going to be outlawed in South Africa, and I will then sign that list, and it's going to be gazetted next week. So we have done that work. We are satisfied that we know the critical skills that are required in the country. But we are also going to be in continuous discussions with the Departments of Trade and Industry, with the Presidential Infrastructure Coordinating Commission around the critical skills required for the build program, so that we are able to provide continuous support to those. And to that extent, we are satisfied that we will be able to satisfy.
We're running out of time, but very quickly, what happens to people in the country already? Does their status change, and what's going to happen to them? And also, domestic workers, gardeners from neighboring countries, what's going to happen to them?
The new regulations and the new legislation do not apply retrospectively. So those who are in the country in terms of the old legislation and regulations will continue operating under those until such a time as they lapse and they need to renew their visas, and then the new regulations will kick in respect of those. It's quite clear that the country has to deal with the issue of economic migrants who do not fit into the critical skills categories. And secondly, in the next few weeks or even months, I'm going to make an announcement in terms of how you deal with the Zimbabwe Special Dispensation, which would address some of the people in the categories as you are referring to.
All right, Minister, we're going to have to leave it there, but thank you very much indeed, and we look forward to further chats to unlock more about the legislation that is coming into being. Thank you for your time. Much.